are now 3 power plants in Japan where there are fears about radiation. At Onagawa, up here on this peninsula, this is the most northerly of these reactors that are in question, really. But the Onagawa plant, the reactors are under control, but there are higher than permitted levels of radiation. Look further down this map, you can see 2 others, Tokai and Fukushima number 1. Tokai is just 75 miles or so from Tokyo, the capital city, but the reactors at both of these plants are being very closely monitored indeed. So how are these reactors supposed to work? Well, reactors convert the energy stored in nuclear fuel rods into electricity. Water is circulated through the system to try and make sure that the fuel rods do not overheat. But following the earthquake, the plant's reactors automatically shut down, as they are designed to do. But crucially, that reduces the chances of massive radiation leak. Now, after the shutdown, Fukushima's diesel generators kicked in to provide that emergency backup cooling power for the reactor. But after an hour, they stopped, possibly because of the tsunami that then hit the plant. This meant that water stopped cooling the reactor. Now, the cooling water that's left will eventually boil away, and that leaves the fuel rods potentially exposed. And if coolant isn't restored, it could lead to what's known as a meltdown, when the core melts and allows radiation to escape up out into the atmosphere. Now, another possibility is that the fuel rods in the core could reach such a high temperature that they melt through the floor of the reactor, and the radiation contaminates the water table below and out into the surrounding environments. In an attempt to stop a meltdown, seawater has now been pumped into Fukushima number 1's reactors to cool them down. Fukushima had 3 reactors in operation before the earthquake and tsunami. Let's take a bit of a closer look at them. Reactors 1 and 3 are the ones that the authorities are worried about. The roof of reactor 1 exploded yesterday. Officials think there has been a partial meltdown of the fuel rods in there. In reactor number 3, just below number 1, the fuel rods may have partially deformed, but authorities say a meltdown of this reactor is unlikely, so that is good news. But despite that, the situation is far from over. On Friday, officials were saying there wasn't much to worry about at all. Now, 3 out of Japan's 55 nuclear plants are being very closely monitored.